final song is to remind you that you are a star. Start well, continue. Keep striving, even on those days when you don't want to strive. Find all that is within you. Remember the reason why you are doing these things. Because for me, that is how I am still here. That's how I know I'm going to get to the next level. So many people have said so many things about me. I can't even begin to tell you guys. That's going to be on a different show. But speaking on a different show, let's take a detour to legal issues this morning. Yes, even stars need a compass. Yes. That's why you have navigators who use them to get to where they want to get to. And today we have a navigator here with us who will help us explain what the ambient and the ambience of the law is sometimes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hello Port Harcourt.
Stimulating and insightful conversations. Hello Port Harcourt. 92.3 Nigeria Info. Let's go.
Jubilee Nwokoro again joins us this morning on a Tuesday, and it's the first Tuesday of 2023. I don't know about you, but I don't quite feel any different. But I do know that it's a sense of responsibility to continue to do the best you can. The holidays are over, and here he is once again in his suit and tie, and we are going to be having another round of conversations and share with you what the law says about something interesting. Mr. Jubilee, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Jude.
Happy New Year to you.
Same
officially.
to you.
Pleasure to have you join us this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So now today, for starters, for 2023, we're going to be looking at business commissions this morning. Mr. Jubilee is going to help us understand what the legal steps are to be taken to receive commissions from contracts. Now, as I mentioned contracts, I'm pretty sure some people's ears have just propped up because ego is very important these days. People are looking for contracts. I'm looking for contracts as well, but there are proper ways to do them, and that's what Mr. Jubilee is going to help us with. When people come into partnership, when people decide that, you know what, Mr. Jubilee knows the man who owns sand, I know the person who has the trucks, so let's come together and do a business so that when the money comes, we'll share it. But a lot of times, people have actually not left without their fingers getting burned. Mr. Jubilee, what are the legal parameters? Let's get to start with that.
All right, good morning, Mr. Jude. Once again, thanks for having me. Well, we will be looking at that very interesting angle. But as I go into it, I'm going to try to classify it so that everyone listening will get a deeper understanding. All right. The moment two people are involved in business, agreements kicking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have this clause that is trending now in Nigerian politics. Agreement is
agreement. Yes, indeed.
So, but you see, not all agreements are enforceable. I think we even went that way last week. So if you listened last week, you have some foundation to begin to understand what we are doing today. But we'll try to make sure everybody goes along. We have joint venture contracts. Okay, this is practiced mostly by the IOCs, the big guys who can who get advised by corporate commercial lawyers like myself. Okay, so if you are not aware of all of that, just like in medicine, you don't get to know a lot of things that are available if you're not playing in the big leagues for health purposes. And so now you have an opportunity, so please listen very attentively. There's what we call joint venture contracts, joint venture agreements. Now, we also have what we call partnerships. Now, we also have what we call limited liability partnerships. Then we'll have partnerships limited by guarantee. I'm going to go into all of this as simply as I can make it for everyone to understand. I'll do my best. All right. A joint venture agreement is what you need if, like Mr. Jude said, you have the trucks, somebody else has the sand, or you have a contract and you don't have the equipment, and so you want somebody else to handle the contract and all of that. You know, I was on Wazobia with Lady J the other day, and then somebody called me after it and said that someone did a contract. It was so painful that someone did a contract for him. That is, he gave the person the contract to do, and the person took the contract, got payment. He wasn't even lying. Oh, I'll be paid. We've heard people say, "I've not." Yeah. You know, he went to this contract. Nobody paid anything in his contract.
He lied.
He stood his prison fees, and instead.
But when to prove, however, the contract doesn't in a big process.
I know what so absolutely denied. Absolutely denied. So you see, because the companies don't do contracts with 2 people or 3 people. For instance, let's break it down. If I get a contract with Ajip or Shell or Chevron to supply stationaries, I mean, I'm not into stationaries. I don't know anything about paper and all that. So I get a man at Garrison in the computer markets area who has a registered business for that purpose, a registered company, and we use his business name, that's how it is said, to relate with the company, and they pay the money, maybe 100 million, 200 million, 50 million, 10 million, 2 million, and then I'm done, and this man goes, okay, when they pay, I'll pay you this amount. Oh, it's 30 million. It's 2 million. And then the man gets paid. Now, as far as
that's the they have the contract.
Yes, the man that executed the contract.
Okay, the one that executed the
contract. How these contracts work is the contract can be given, you know, in Africa, just like everywhere in the world, there is an oral discussion already.
Yes.
So somebody says, okay, we've looked at all the bids. You are going to get the bid.
Yeah.
So bring us your company documents, your company accounts, and all of that. And then I don't have a company for that proposal. I have a company, but I'm not the one going to execute it. I'm like, okay, bring your document. So on paper,
yeah.
So Mr. B comes up and says, "Oh, you
without leverage,
I don't owe you," and then stock. And Mr. A stock B has collected the money, goes to here. His lawyer brings a motion. His lawyer brings a motion for dismissal of the suit, primary objection, a notice of primary objection, and the major ground is that there is no local standard. He has no right in law to challenge him, and then there is no cause of action. He has done him no wrong, and so the court lacks jurisdiction to entertain such a matter. It's frivolous, and the matter is struck out. He goes to the Court of Appeal, does all he can, gets 5 SANs. He loses. He goes to the Supreme Court. He loses. And then so when you're talking on radio, he says, forget law, forget lawyers. They are all liars. There is law. Law is this. So the man he's stuck in his ignorance. And letting them listen to this show. You need a joint venture contract. When you're doing a business with another person that involves skill or contributions, one person is bringing in skill, one person bringing in leverage of social connection, the other person is bringing in whatever you're bringing to the table, you need a joint venture agreement. So with this joint venture agreement, you now is both of us executing this contract. To take it to the next level, this joint venture can be registered.
Even though your individual companies are already registered?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a lot of companies that are registered as joint ventures. So we have Topcon, Chevron, Texaco. We have many joint ventures. We have this. I own the rig, equipment, the dredging, whatever. You own the well, you own the sand, the license, you have the oil mining lease. So to avoid confusion, we come together, we register a company.
And then profit or loss are...
That company is now the company that we present to this company that we're having
the
contract with.
Okay.
And accredited agent of CAC, I can tell you, in 7 working days, you can register a limited liability company. In 5 working days. So you have that registered. So it's not my company doing the contract. It's not your company the contract. It's our company. So my company, I don't own shares in this company. You in this company. Company owns shares in this. Your company owns shares in this company.
Interesting. That way people get to prevent that.
So there are no issues. So when payment is made to this joint company's account, it just liquidates to our several accounts by a standing order to the bank. It flows smoothly. So we have everything in writing. On the strength of that joint venture, we agree. That joint venture agreement will now become the foundation for the memorandum and articles of association of that joint venture company registry. So this thing is not innovation. Maybe somebody, wow, that's a good. It's not. It's been there all the while. Just that you may not have known about it. So there's this joint venture registered. People in sports do it a whole lot, because the volume of money that flows through sports and stadiums, all of that, footballs and all of that. So there are a lot of joint ventures registered. There are a lot of limited partnerships registered. You can also register a limited partnership. So that's between Mr. A and Mr. B companies.
Yeah.
They register a limited partnership for the purpose of executing
that particular
particular contract. Anytime after the contract is executed, the partnership is liquidated.
Okay, so when we come back, we'll put some of the existing problems people have. I have a question to ask Mr. Jubilee. Don't go anywhere. Right here on 90.3 Nigeria Info's Hello Port Harcourt. The guys did an amazing job on that particular promo talking about the sports gang. You don't want to miss them out every weekday 7 p.m. to 9 when they sit down and they have great conversations about football and everything concerning football. You see that last bit, I just got to find out from Mr. Jubilee just shared with me what that last bit. Man, you guys, you have suffered. But anyway, another team that is not particularly doing well right now is, yes, you guessed it, Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's team for Liverpool, or Liverpool's teams, his Liverpool sides in recent years have been near, invincible. Got trounced by Brentford. Brentford, Arsenal beat 3-0, beat Liverpool 3-1. It's gloomy times if you are, in fact, right now, Liverpool fans, you are definitely walking alone right now. Definitely. But anyway, more will come your way later on tonight when they sit down and get to talk the woes and the throngs of woes coming through for Liverpool. Arsenal will be playing later on today. We will find out if another Arsenal moment is, on the horizon. They take on Newcastle. And we'll see how that pans out. I foresee a draw in that game. Take it from me. Yes, I've spoken. But speaking about people who have agreements, Mr. Jubilee once again is joining us. Now we're talking about business and commissions. And some of you have put your hand in contracts. You're expecting the money, but the person who you asked to do the contract for you, or who you brought in to help with the contract, either as a financier or maybe as a provider of a good or a service, has now absconded with your money. What do you do? Now, Mr. Jubilee just shared with us very important information about joint venture registration. You need to register your business as a joint venture initiative so that you don't get these problems. But what about people who did not know this before today, and then, like some friends I have, Mr. Jubilee, they signed an agreement. Hello, Jude is supplying you sand. You will pay Jude 1,000 naira, and then they do the business, and then the man runs. Can that little thing that myself and that my, in quote, friend signed, can it be held in court?
Oh yes, please. An agreement, like we started by saying, is an agreement. The meaning of that is whatever you voluntarily signed is binding on you. The fact that you feel different now that the money has come in doesn't change anything. Your feelings don't have anything to do with your signature. So what matters is, does that agreement meet the requirements of law? Was it well entered? The moment that is confirmed, you can recover your money. I've shared a whole lot before now about how you can recover your money through several means, through the undefended lease, through garnishee proceedings, through Mareva proceedings. You can even pick your money from the person's account. You can even pick your money from the person's salary account. That is, you can literally just get an order of court to where the person works. Like, once is month end, pay to me. Let the guy be working. I'll be getting the pay until my money is complete.
Wow.
And the court will give you that juicy court order. I know many people would like that just for the pain, to think that the guy is working for you. And you'll get
that's not fair.
Well, it's for the purpose of people who refuse to keep to agreement. So once somebody is doing anything with you and he has written it down, you have a right. Like we also said, it's 5 years. It's 5 years under Section 15 of the River State Contracts Law for you to recover such things. So don't sleep on it. The earlier you start, the better. Then if you have the River State Judiciary, the Chief Judge of River State has announced the creation of the small claims court that I was talking about the other day.
Oh yes, we did have members of the Judicial Council with me just before the end of last week. Yes, we're here on Thursday.
Okay, so the small claims court is on its way, is right here with us, and it's going to solve a lot of problems. But that is if you come there. So let me say this: if you've paid money to a person for whatever reason, you say, "Oh, I paid him money for this, for that," you don't have to explain. You have a right to get your money back. You have a right to get your money back. If you've entered an agreement with somebody, supply me this. Okay, do this supply on my behalf. And then you're going to pay me this. And that is in writing. You have an agreement. Now, you may not call it a loan because you didn't give the person the money, but it's called a profit agreement. It's called a profit sharing agreement. Yes.
Profit sharing
Profit
agreement.
sharing agreement, a PSA.
Okay.
So if you are doing stuff like that, just head it profit sharing agreement. It's a kind of a business agreement. It's one type of business agreement. So when the business is done, you owe me this amount. So that amount is legally recognized in law. Then if you are an agent, you help some people find a tank farm to buy. You help them find some trunk trucks, some sea vessel, some land, some house somewhere in Port Harcourt, wherever, to buy or sell. Or you help them find an agent and find a buyer or find a seller. You have a right to enforce your money. That commission, the word profit, is recognized in corporate commercial law, or generally put in business law. You are entitled to your commission. You are entitled to your profit. You are entitled to interest. If, for instance, you give someone money and said, start this poultry or whatever it is, when you have sold, you will give me this back. You are entitled to your profit. You say, he's not a money lender, so he has no right to charge interest, because we talked about money lending under the money lenders law the other time. So if the very fact that the person is not a money lender does not mean he's not entitled to a profit sharing agreement. So somebody who has made money available to you is entitled to recover that money under equitable estoppel. It's one of the principles of equity, and it's one of the principles for enforcing contracts. In fact, we have what we call equitable estoppel by contract. That is where two people have said, where somebody has said to somebody, okay, use your money and do this thing, I will pay you. Or, okay, take money and do this, or give me money, I'm going to do this business. When I'm done, out of the 10 million I'm going to be paid, you give me 4 million, I will give you 6 million, and I will keep 4 million. And then the person later says, what you gave me is 4 million, I will give you back your 4 million. And then this person goes to court and they say, you're not a money lender. Well, you're not claiming interest, you're claiming profit. You are entitled to claim profit because it's an investment.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that is covered under the Investments and Securities Act. It's covered under the Investments and Securities Act, ISA, and is supervised by SEC. In fact, we have companies that are called investment houses. They are capital funded houses. They are investment houses. They take sums from people and then invest and then pay back. And there are regulations for that, so that where those companies begin to default in their ability to pay, the government can take up those companies and then pay you back. So people come to me and say, I invested, I did this investment, but I heard that all these things you cannot enforce it. It's not true. You can enforce whatever investment you did, whether it's whatever forex or whatever. I didn't call any name specifically. Whatever name the company is called, or like defunct MMM, you are entitled to claim, recover your entitlements. So if I claim it, where do I enforce it? Most of these companies, the court has appointed receivers. We'll call it a receivership.
Okay.
A receivership. Okay, the thing is that law is very wide.
Yeah.
So you get to hear new things if you listen to Jude and I on Tuesdays. A receivership is an arrangement where a company that has gone bankrupt, bankruptcy or insolvency, simply means that the liabilities of the company have exceeded the assets of the company, and therefore the company is not able to meet up with its financial and other forms of obligations. So because of that, the court, the Federal High Court essentially, upon an application by an interested party or by the company itself, will order the bankruptcy or liquidation of that company, which means that the assets of the company should be sold and liquidated to cash, and then in whatever account form, dollar, pound, naira, whatever. And then a receiver is appointed, usually a law firm, a lawyer, or SEC can appoint even another bank or another company to act as receiver. That receiver is a receiver. That's all they are. They are to receive the assets of this company and then liquidate the liabilities of the company. So pay off all the claims, pay off everything. And generally in the banking sector, we have NDIC, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, acting as receiver for commercial banks under the supervision of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So generally, if you enter a contract, I had to go just the wide spectrum so that everybody could get an idea. So
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
sign that, then you can do the needful.
Okay, so if you sign that, you can do the needful. We'll start to take your calls right about now. 070-0923-0923, 070-0923-0923. And then WhatsApp and Telegram 0809-030-6416. Now, before I take any call, I need to ask you this question. You just made mention about, yes, we're talking about business and commissions a lot, and our focus had been, with those, partnerships that, people.
Profits, yeah.
But you made mention of agents.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems I know a lot of Port Harcourt people and indeed Lagos people have had is that the role of, in quotes, estate agents in their rent. So somebody goes to find a house like I did last year or the year before, that's end of 2021, and I got to this house and I found out the building. Oh, I called the person who was in charge, was the lawyer, or he claimed to be a lawyer. I said, okay, fine. I came on my own. So how much is my rent? The person said XYZ. And then he said, you have to pay agency fee. I said, but what agent? Nobody found the house for me. I came on my own. There were no billboards anywhere. There was no sign anywhere. I was walking in an area. I saw some people carrying cement on their head. They were plastering. They said the house will be completed in 2 weeks. And I'd like to pay. Nobody told me anything.
No, you're not supposed to pay agents fee in that situation. You're not supposed to pay agents fee in that situation. But the challenge is that the landlord generally will agree with the agent. Now, there is agency service in terms of helping you locate a house, and then there is management agency. So there's someone that manages the house. He's entitled to a fee for that.
I see. All right. Okonkwo is in room. Okonkwo, good morning to you, please. Hello? Okonkwo?
Yeah. Bonjour.
Good morning.
Compliments of the season to you and your guest.
Good morning to you. Compliments as well.
Thank you. I built a house and I called a POP practitioner then to do POP work for me on that job, on that building. And the amount was 1 million. And we put an agreement. And he said that I should give him mobilization fee of 600,000, which I did, and it was also included on that agreement. So I called the police. So I took him to a police station, and so I laughed at the legal ignorance of the policeman. But I want to confirm from your lawyer. So what should I do? Should I take legal action on that POP man? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Okonkwo. Wow. I've never had a policeman say something that they signed is illegal.
Oh, well, I don't really get his point. First of all, going to the police is out of it.
That's a civil issue.
That's totally out of it. Section 8 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Rivers State says that no suspect shall be arrested merely on grounds of a civil wrong or contract dispute, breach of contract or civil dispute. So going to the police was a wrong move. Now, secondly, well, let a lawyer look at your agreement. The man may have reasons for saying that the agreement is illegal, is unenforceable. If probably they didn't sign it properly,
okay,
or whatever. But if you have agreed an amount with somebody
and apparently paid some upfront,
you pay some upfront, and then the person says he's not doing again, or the person did the work and didn't finish it. He didn't really state what the grievance specifically was, but whatever it is, if you reached an agreement with someone, or maybe the cost of materials changed, whatever happened, you have a right to go to court with the person. And then go to the magistrate court and ventilate your grievance. The court can make an order called an order of specific performance, directing the person to complete what you agreed. But the problem with that is POP that you're going to be living under. So you want to be very careful so that the person doesn't do something that will fall on your head while you're sleeping. So instead, you can recover your money and then give another person. Get to court.
Okay, now this is a very interesting question, and I think we'll have about 3 or 4 minutes so you can clarify this because it's directed at you. So it's been observed that your guests sometimes contradict or complicate facts. I remember Daya hosted a guest recently about investment breach by all these forex yada yada yada, and he said that he said if the company runs away, the investor has no claim. Now, your guest is saying that it is suable. Which way? Oluwa Tamilola wants to confirm. Can we get...
I would like to know who that guest was who said that an investment is not recoverable. Unfortunately...
He's stating here when it comes to Forex, because I think I've heard somebody make mention of that if you put your money in Forex, for example, they usually have that clause that, only put what you can afford to.
I don't know what he means by investing in Forex. If you are trading and you lose money, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I was talking about an investment company in Port Harcourt here that folded. There is the word Forex in their name. Their office was at Waterlines. Okay. I don't want to call their name.
Their name is not important, but it's still Forex.
If you give somebody money, no, that wasn't Forex. They just put Forex by their name.
Okay. So
if you put in 100,000, then they pay you 10,000. Pay you that.
That's an investment company.
Now, the fact that somebody writes in his agreement that the agreement you will not be able to go to court goes to trash. That's an illegal term of that contract. You see, the problem is that many lawyers don't read. Many lawyers don't read. Many lawyers are ignorant. And I am not here to insult anybody. But please, before anybody comes on air to say anything, go back and read your books. Don't waste the money you used to go to law school. I don't know who made that statement. If he had mentioned the person, I would have put the person on call right now and read to the person from the Investment and Securities Act to educate his head.
Okay, so but now let's get
to the issue and from the person. If you make an investment and the investment is, first of all, with a registered company,
okay,
is properly signed, and there is documentation as to what you are investing and what you are to get out, you are entitled to sue the person. Go to court first and let the court say that you don't have a right to sue the person.
Okay,
the Supreme Court has held severally on the issue.
Okay, all right. So first and foremost, investment houses. If I put my money in an investment company, right? Once it's properly registered, once I do my due diligence, make sure that company is registered. Understand that they are saying that they're going to give me this.
Don't worry. Let me just give a straight example. There is a company that just folded, Benignant Fort. I'm going to mention it because the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt here made recent pronouncements on it. The receiver appointed for it is Ojoko and Ojoko. It's a law firm at number 32 Mbono Street, D line. I'm giving practical facts. People came up and brought their claims, and many of the claims have been paid. They have been paid. It was Federal High Court 4 that sat on that issue. The problem is that this man now goes to a lawyer that doesn't know his onions, and the person takes up your case and goes to a magistrate court over an investment issue. An investment issue is not a claim for recovery of money paid. It's not a claim to recover money paid. And you see all these terminologies I'm quoting here, I'm not catching fun. It's coming from a depth of knowledge. A person who has not invested that much into his head, you will not expect the person to yield the very same returns. It's as simple as that. I was involved in a matter where we were representing a particular IOC in Port Harcourt here. And then, in fact, it's the major IOC in Nigeria. And then a particular company sued them. I will not give details because the matter is still I think they're heading to the Supreme Court now. It was at the Federal High Court, Umuahia. For whatever reason, they went there because the matter started there anyway. And then this company had contracts with Nigeria telecommunications stuff in the days of Obasanjo, and they were supposed to be paid a couple of billions, and then they were not paid. And then they came up to say this money has now come up to 1.3 billion US dollars. And then they are saying the federal government is owing us. The court has granted us. I can mention it because the Supreme Court pronounced on the Ganishi aspect. It's Interstellar versus CBN. And any lawyer listening will know that the judgment was given in 2018 by the Supreme Court, where they were saying that the Attorney General of the Federation, if he was part of the negotiation that gave birth to that judgment, his consent will not be required to enforce that judgment. So they went back and then they sued all the oil companies on grounds of joint venture agreement. And then they sued Royal Dutch Shell. And I was in a law firm that was representing SPDC. And I said to my boss, this cannot happen. Royal Dutch Shell is not registered in Nigeria. And then we went to the Federal High Court and brought an objection, and Royal Dutch Shell, in fact, they withdrew against Royal Dutch Shell. You can go for SPDC or SNEPCO, those ones may have it. You can go for Royal Dutch Shell. So, you see, your case is as good as who is handling it. Just like we heard of medical negligence issues that relatives went to shoot somebody.
We'll talk about that next week.
So it's about how things are handled. I had a fracture that was mishandled in Edo State, and then we had to get it back done well at UPTH in Port Harcourt, and I know how much I had to spend extra. So if you go somewhere and somebody takes, for instance, you have a matter against NEC, Nigeria Electrical Regulatory Commission, because you are suing PHED, it does not occur to you that you're going to have to get up against NEC, and then you sue PHED and they bring in NEC, and you are the magistrate court or at the state high court. The state high court does not have jurisdiction. Section 251 sub I P Q sub 1 P Q R says that everything, that's paragraphs P, paragraph Q, and paragraph R, anything that has to do with the administration and regulation of I'm talking about the constitution, of a federal government-owned agency is within the exclusive jurisdiction of the Federal High Court.
So anything
so
investment
please,
has to be...
you have an investment issue, is pursuant to the ISA, you involve SEC, you go to the Federal High Court, and you get your matter trashed.
Okay, all right. So a lot of issues here have been handled with this commission. We'll be taking a further look, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But Mr. Jubilee, thank you very much for your time, coming through. Don't forget, every Tuesday you have to pay very close attention, because you don't know what we'll be talking about that might need you to get your facts right. My name is Jude. Hello, Port Harcourt ends right now.